Guys, Bella here, and today I'm going to be talking about what happens if you gain all the weight back. I have been on Ozempic for 2.5 years, and today I weighed in and I am the smallest I have been in a long time, and I have not seen this weight yet in my weight loss journey, and so it kind of marks some significance for me, but it also brought up some feelings of uncertainty, worry, fear about enjoying this stage of things, and wondering how long it will last. And it seems like one of the biggest critiques that I see regarding any weight loss medication is once you stop taking the medication, you will gain all the weight back. So I want to address that in this video. I want to talk about some of the things that you can do to mitigate gaining all the weight back. And I also want to share my story because guess what? I did once lose weight, 50 pounds, and gain all of it back. In my opinion, if I got there once, I will always be able to get there again. Now, the way I lost weight initially was restricting calories to an extreme amount and working out all the time. This is when I was in my early 20s, and I dropped down from like 189 to like 135. And I stayed at around 135 to 145 for a couple years, but I noticed that my weight slowly went up year after year, and it really seemed to me inevitable for me to gain that weight back. I feel like the difference this time is that my weight has been steadily going down year after year. I don't really feel like it's something that I have to worry about being on Ozempic. I do believe in maintenance dosing. I do believe that this is something that I'm comfortable taking for the duration of however long I need to take it. I knew that I was gaining the weight back when I was gaining it back because I felt horrible about myself. I would weigh myself all the time and notice like, oh my gosh, it's creeping up more and more and more and more. And it just started to feel so out of control. And I think because of that, I would often overeat because of restriction, and it was just a really bad cycle. Mentally was not doing great, and also physically I had a compulsion to eat. So with Ozempic, if you don't really understand how it works, it slows your gastric emptying in your digestive system, which allows you to feel full for longer. And a lot of the reason why I ate so much was I was hungry. I was hungry all the time. I have a family history of diabetes, and if you saw my last video, my grandmother just passed away this month from complications from her diabetes. So weight is a very sensitive subject for me, especially given like my family history and how impactful it has been. And what I've noticed with weight gain and weight regain, the people that I know who've lost weight really fast seem to be the people who often gain the weight back. You'll see them one year and they're like really skinny, and then you see them the next year and they look just like they looked before. For me, I can definitely see incremental changes, and I think that's a key reason why the weight has continued to go down. It hasn't been me dropping 10 pounds in a month. I often get comments about how I'm losing weight so slow that it's not even worth being on Ozempic, and I just have to take it, in stride, because I'm like, well, I'm still losing weight and the weight is coming off, so ultimately that is the goal. And it's so funny that you get praised for weight loss if you do it like the natural way, but if you do it with medicine, then you're just gonna get condemned on the internet. I do think it's a valid fear that you might gain all the weight back because it did happen to me, but what I will say is that yes, it can happen, but like worst case scenario, you just do what you did before. You fall back on the habits that you know worked. And if you need this medication, you need to stay on it. I don't think there's any reason why you should feel bad about that. When I gained the weight back, what I noticed most was shame, regret, and this feeling of hopelessness. And I also felt like my body that I had worked so hard on, I mean, hours and hours in the gym, constantly telling myself, no, you can't eat that. I can't buy that. I can't have that. Just constantly telling myself no. So with that weight loss, there was a lot of restrictive feelings. With my Ozempic weight loss, it feels free. Like it feels like I don't have to really think about all of that anymore. And it feels like the willpower myth is really blown out of proportion, saying that people just don't realize, how much they're eating, or some people just aren't strong enough to resist. There's a lot of factors that come into play about what we consume, how much we consume, and the nature of the food we eat, even as to where we grow up, how we grow up, the class system that we live in, your income level. all of that affects the food that you eat when you're in early childhood. If you have trauma like me, then you probably ate to self-soothe. So there's a lot of reasons why weight loss is complicated. So I'm not sure if I would consider myself in maintenance, but for me, I did not have a plan for maintenance when I lost weight the first time. I just thought, great, I'm skinny now. I can finally rest. And, going to that point, obviously I was a lot younger. I didn't really think about sustainability or the long haul. And that is one major setback that I feel like I faced, but also just not knowing the issues that I was dealing with, the hormonal issues and some of the other stuff. I think we should also normalize weight gain. Occasional weight gain is not a sign of failure. Your weight is going to go up 5 pounds, 7 pounds, and then go down and go up and go down and go up your whole entire life. Like, it's not down to an exact, like, calories in, calories out numbers thing. It really is more of like an overall effect. Like, if I look at the graph of my weight loss, it's very much like a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down. Mostly down if you look at the whole thing, but if you don't look at the whole thing, then you might see some going up and be like, oh no, she's failing. When I look at that, I am nothing but proud, because I put that time in, I put the work in. I know that it took a lot of mental fortitude to get to that point. So what are the reasons why you would gain the weight back after Ozempic? Well, obviously, if you stop taking Ozempic, you're going to stop getting the benefits of that. Some people say that their appetite came back like ravenously. Some people have said that they were able to maintain their healthy habits and go off of it. So I think it is just different experiences, body to body. But for me, I've gone off of it for a little while and I didn't like the way that it felt. I've actually got a video about it because I had a lapse in coverage from my insurance, and I wound up not being able to get it for a while, and that tanked my progress. And so now I'm using a telehealth company called Fridays to get my medication. They are offering compounded semaglutide. It's Ozempic, but compounded. It's $249 a month, includes everything: your labs, your doctor's visits, the meds shipped to your door. Right now, I do have a code for $50 off. If you want to use it, it's code Bella. I'll put the links in the description below. But when I started using them and I knew that I was going to be able to get the medicine consistently and affordably, a lot of that fear around the weight gain kind of went away. Because for me, I was always thinking, is this going to be temporary? If I can't get the medicine anymore, what am I going to do? And even if I couldn't get the medicine, I have made a lot of changes regarding like my psychology around food, but I don't know if those physical changes would come back. And I can't say one way or another. I do feel like the hunger would come back to some extent. For me right now, I'm in the 140s. I started about a year ago, I was in the 160s. And so I've really noticed that for me, the progress has been a little bit at a time, and I'm okay with that. This year, I'm really going to focus on body recomposition, and I'll probably put out a video about that soon because I've been lifting weights. Very light weights, I will add, like very light. I'm like a baby when it comes to that. But I've been trying to tone my body. I've noticed a significant change in like my skin. The way that my skin looks on my body now that I've lost over 40 pounds is very different. I've noticed loose skin. I've noticed things like just basically things that basically were stretched out are no longer stretched out with fat. So the skin is just kind of, it is where it is. But with weight loss, you do have bodily changes and you do have things that you come to like. Like, I like my new face. Doesn't look anything like my old face. I love both versions of me, but I definitely feel like this face to me is objectively more like attractive, and it feels more me. I don't know how to explain that, but it just feels more like me. In a way, my weight is tied to my ability to obtain semaglutide. And it's crazy how this one drug changed my entire life. Like, I started making videos about it. My channel got bigger. I started getting more exposure. I got more like brand opportunities. I started a different business with influencing videos, and now I'm getting paid to make videos. Like, everything changed because I decided to start Ozempic, and I didn't even know that was going to happen. It just kind of unfolded that way. But everything wouldn't go back to the way it was if I gained the weight back, I don't think. I've made great strides in my business and personally and professionally. And so, gaining the weight back, I guess, is a fear, but it's not something that I think about a lot. I know that it can be hard to see a different version of yourself that you've never seen before. And sometimes you even miss the old fat version of yourself. Honestly, I miss when people left me the hell alone. Sometimes when I'm going to stores now, it's like I get more attention, and it's kind of nice to be anonymous sometimes. You just kind of miss that version of yourself that could just go and be unbothered. And so, I think looking back, if I had this drug back then, I do think I could have sustained my weight loss. And I do think I wouldn't have had basically an eating disorder and had such a horrible, horrible relationship with myself and with food, because I just spent yesterday cooking like this phenomenal plate of like spicy deviled eggs. I looked at them and I was so proud, and I was like, I used to be afraid to cook because I thought that I was going to put too much calories in whatever I was cooking. My mom would be like, oh, I'm making whatever tonight, and I would be like, I can't eat that. I don't know exactly how much calories is in it. And so I would really stress about that kind of thing. And just looking at the ways that my life has now gotten a little bit easier, I do think that this drug is the major reason for that, but like I missed out on a lot because of the restriction, and I don't feel as restricted now. So I'm thinking that that will help with the sustainability in terms of the weight loss. Honestly, the way I look at it is like, okay, I'm around 145 now. So say I get to 160. Well, I was originally 189. So is 160 something I want to be? Not really, but it's not 189. And so having the self-awareness that if your weight does start going up, you actually recognize what's happening, you stop those patterns, you get treatment, whatever you need to do, you address it before it all comes back. I feel like you have a better shot at maintaining weight loss. And if you look at any study on long-term weight loss, a lot of people gain the weight back. It's not just Ozempic. It's pretty much any diet, because diets are temporary. Diets are changing something that you do for a temporary amount of time and expecting to get those results and then go back to what you were doing before. And that's just not going to work, When I look in my fridge, it's got blueberries, some blackberries, some cheese, some bacon, some almond milk. We've got eggs, we've got salad mix, just all kinds of things that are real food. I still eat processed food, just not to the extent that I ate before. And it's kind of funny because I still get those, it's almost like more of a mind craving than a body craving now, because every once in a while I'm like, ooh, I wish I had a Pop-Tart. But I eat the Pop-Tart and I'm like, ugh, this is not really that good. A lot of this with Ozempic is just figuring out how to eat in a way that works for you and being able to maintain that. And if you can do that, you don't have to worry about gaining all the weight back. I've been really skinny. I've been really fat. I've been skinny again. It's like, is it better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all? I feel like, being skinny, it was fun, it was cool, but it was a lot of work back then, and I felt like it was a lot of pressure. In this phase of my life, I don't really feel necessarily skinny, but if someone saw me 5 years ago and they saw me now, they'd be like, wow, she's way skinnier than she was. She doesn't look like she looked before. My stomach is flat to me. It's probably not flat to people in LA, but to people in Alabama, it's a flat stomach by all accounts. My proportions are looking better. My clothes are fitting better. I feel comfortable in who I am. I'm not wearing any makeup in this video, and I look crazy because I just got done filming skincare videos, but I'm comfortable enough to address being with my audience with no makeup on. And that's something that I never would do before, because I was like, they're going to think that I'm ugly and disgusting and they're not going to want to watch my videos. It's the self-talk that got me to where I was at back then. This body has gotten me through every single day of my life. So I don't have anything to be but grateful for it. It's not the perfect body. It's not ideal. It has pain. It has stretch marks. It has loose skin. It has flaws. It has acne, but it's a body, and it's my body. And so I'm happy with it. I'm proud of it. And I do feel like if you live your life in fear, you will never truly live your life. You will hold yourself back, not just with weight loss, but with any opportunity, anything you want to go for, anything. If you cannot live in fear and do anything successful or meaningful, because if you're always thinking of, oh, what's going to go wrong? What's behind that door? Oh, I'm going to be devil's advocate for every little thing. Your life is going to suck. Like, your life is going to be very much smaller than what it could be. I would say if you have a fear of gaining the weight back, acknowledge the fear, ask yourself how likely is that fear, and ask yourself, do I have the tools to change things if that does happen? Will it be the end of the world? Will I not be able to reverse it? As long as you know that you have power, I don't feel like fear should keep you from losing weight. My body is mine. I can do what I want with it. It's healthy now, and hopefully it'll stay that way. So hopefully you guys understand me. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to start semaglutide, all the links are in the description. Have a great week, and I will catch you guys in the next video.